Hello and welcome and congratulations. You made it here. You're here for learning how to design a customized learning plan for 2023 that fits you and your team to a T and increases your ROI. Longest title ever with me, Leanne Reagan. I'm just delighted that you made it here. And you belong here in our Learning and Development Roundtable community. We celebrated 10 years last year. By the way, folks, if you're coming in, I'll just ask you to mute yourself. So just because of background noise. However, if you do have a question or comment, you're welcome at any time. So I'm celebrating us, our community. I'm celebrating you for being here. And my name is Leanne Reagan, and here are some true tales about learning. Just a quick introduction of myself. So let me know in the chat, which of these very small stories are you interested in hearing about that have to do with learning? So put the number 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, and I'll tell you a couple of short stories. So let me know in the chat. Are you interested in 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5? Okay, Medina says 5. Okay, and I'll do one more. So I'll wait for the next number. 5, and which other one? 4, says Irvi. Okay, so 5 and 4. So escape. I am all about learning. Some people in my life would say I'm kind of obsessed with learning. And it's actually, I see learning for myself and my background as a bit of an escape. So I grew up in a family that was a little bit tumultuous. And I, to this day, am the first person in my family to have gone to university, let alone get a degree, let alone get a master's degree. And not that formal official learning is the only way for learning. There's, of course, lots of wonderful informal learning. But for me, learning really was an escape. Welcome to those just coming in. So Heather, Helen, Lorraine, so lovely that you're here. Ruth is just coming in. Okay, and number 4, life lenses. One of the things that I'm fascinated about learning is how we can experience the same thing, but have completely different perspectives. So decades ago now, I designed a tool called Life Lenses, and it looks at what comes onto your radar easily, naturally, and comfortably, and what flies underneath your radar because it's not important to you, it's awkward, it's foreign, etc. So if you want to, you can go to my website, look that up, and take that for free. So it's been a huge part of my learning. Okay, so those are a couple of things to introduce myself with. I work in 3 different areas. So one is working better together. So I work with lots of teams on how to communicate better, resolve conflict, collaborate, manage change, etc. And then I also do a lot of digital engagement. So how to use tech tools for ease and efficiency. And then I also work with teams around training trainers. So how do you design and deliver really powerful, engaging learning? Welcome to folks just coming in. Hi, Yara. Lovely to have you here. So that's a little bit about me. I'd love to hear more about you. So on the count of 3, please unmute. So on the count of 3, unmute and just say the city, town, or village where you are. So on the count of 3, unmute and say the city, town, or village where you are. So 1, 2, 3, unmute everyone. And where are you?
Nairobi.
Nairobi.
Lots of Nairobis. I heard of Hong Kong. Oh, lovely. Welcome.
Yemen.
Okay, so feel free to mute again. So if you haven't already, feel free to mute. And let me know in the chat, what would you like to learn this year? Have you given any thought? What are some of the things that you want to learn this year? So things on my learning plan so far, and I know that you're here to capture that, but you may have already thought about this. Lorraine saying about to get my late lunch. Yeah, I know people are different times of the day, so do whatever you need to do to make this a good experience for yourself. Dizabodi is just coming in a second. Okay, so what are people wanting to learn? Facilitate in the most kick-ass way. Oh, that's great, Lorraine. Dorothy is saying how to deliver interesting and value-added trainings. Oh, okay, so lots of TOT so far. Medina saying improvement in efficient team management. Great. Lorraine, how to get people to come to consensus. Nice. Asma, recreating myself. Collaborating and taking initiative, facilitating. Oh, these are great. These are great. Okay. By the way, welcome Marcial and Thunder and Martin. I'm so delighted you're here. Okay, more facilitation, team management and team capacity building, improving myself, language, data skills, programming. These are great. Okay. So one of the things that I want to learn is I'm going to be doing some data experiments. I'm going to think of myself, I'll talk more about this later, but a bit of like a scientist doing experiments. And next month, so the February roundtable, and I'll give you more information about that soon, I'm going to experiment with that being, instead of 2 hours, being 1.5 hours. So I'm just going to put this in the chat. How do you feel? Whoops. How do you feel about the roundtable being 1.5 hours? So just give me your overall sense. Some people I ask for feedback every month, and some people have wanted it longer and some people want it shorter. So I'm just going to do an experiment. As I'm saying, the meeting radiates energy. Good. Oh, I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, so let me know, how do you feel about being 1.5 instead of 2 hours? And as you are thinking about that, welcome to folks who are coming in, who are just joining us. This is so great. Vivian's coming in, Nuha's coming in. Okay, great. So I know it's really hard to carve out time for learning, so hats off to you for being here. And I really want this to be as good as experience as possible. So some suggestions for how to get the most out of this is please participate, ask questions, give your advice and expertise in the chat. There's always lots and lots and lots of wisdom in our group. I think that's one of the best things about our community. And please sign up to be a member if you're not already a member. I'll say more about this just before the break, but that's how you get access to 10 plus years of resources and all the recordings and all of that. Also, I will announce the winner. So every roundtable, I ask for people's feedback, and then I pick someone at random who gave feedback from the last month, and they win my Ban Boring Online Meetings online course. So I'll announce that. And then I have a poll for you. So let me this is again under my data experiment piece here. So let me just, I'm really, really curious. So first off, let me know if you can see the poll on your screen. Just give me a thumbs up if you can. You should be able to see it. And I'm thinking about starting a learning and development LinkedIn group. On my learning plan is learning more about LinkedIn. Oh, I started to take a deep dive. So just let me know in the poll, where do you spend most of your time for your work-related social media? So is it LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, etc.? So this is your work-related, okay, social media. And then the second question is, where do you spend most of your personal time when it comes to social media? And then the last question is, would you be interested in a Learning and Development Roundtable LinkedIn group? So thank you for those who are giving your feedback. This really helps me serve you better. I just want to see if I'm on track, off track. Oh, Theodosia, you can't submit. Oh, okay. So if you're comfortable, you can put your answers in the chat. So I wonder why. So some folks, I can see we have 13 people so far have given their responses. You can put your responses in the chat and then I'll add them to the poll later. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know why some of you can submit and some, I haven't ever had that happen. Oh, Sumi, yes, you need to scroll down. Yeah. Oh, okay. That's probably it. Sumi, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So there are 3 questions. So if you've done the first one, just scroll down and you'll see all 3. And then there should be a submit button at the end. Okay, so I'll just give you another minute for that. Thank you. And while you're doing that, in the poll, I'm putting a link to a worksheet. So one of the things I'm really interested in is helping participants transfer their learning. So in other words, being able to use what you're learning and apply it. So every round table, I give a different worksheet for helping you do that. Welcome, Niti. We're just doing a poll on social media. You should be able to see that on your screen. There are 3 questions, so just scroll down and you'll be able to see them and then submit your answers. And while you're doing that, I've just put a link in the chat, and to future selves watching this on the replay, all of the links are in the description box there, so you'll be able to get that. So this is one of 3 workshops that I share with you. This is called my Quite worksheet that I made up, and it helps you curate your learning, apply your learning. It helps you be an active participant in your learning. Okay, so just a couple more seconds and we'll go on here. Jacinta's just joining us. Hi, Jacinta, welcome. So glad you're here. We're just doing a quick poll. We're just about finished. So if you have a chance to do that, we've got just about everyone has filled it in. So this is a poll about social media, and I'm trying to decide if I should do a LinkedIn group, a Learning and Development LinkedIn group. So, okay. So almost everyone's filled it in, which is fantastic. So I'm going to end the poll here and I will share the results with you so you can see. If you do a poll on Zoom, by the way, you can gather the raw data. You can download the raw data, but it doesn't collate it for you like Teams does. So I always do some screen grabs. It's kind of easier. Okay, so interesting data there. Okay. So stop sharing there. Thank you for doing that. I appreciate that. Okay, so the Quite worksheet is there. The Q stands for a question. So something that oh, and by the way, when you download it, it becomes editable. So you can fill that in as we go along. So a Q is a question that you have for yourself about our topic today. I is some insights. On the second page, T stands for try. What are some things you want to try related to learning plans? And then E is entertaining. How can you make this fun? So what can you do to do with learning plans that are fun? Okay, so let's continue on. So our roadmap today, we're going to talk about what a learning plan is and why it's so important. I've created a worksheet for you that you'll be able to download and create your learning plan as we go along and make it super customized for you. We're going to talk about the letter I and why it's so important in learning plans, and how to use my SAKE tool and how to make the learning fit you. So we're going to talk not only about what you want to learn, but how you want to learn it. A lot of learning plans don't cover that. And then hopefully you're going to have some fun. We're going to do some interactive stuff. And if you are a UN staff, You don't have to be a UN staff to be here. Anyone is welcome. I will share an attendance link for you so you can get credit for this for your UN mandated training. Okay, so hi, Ida, welcome. So glad you're here. You're so welcome, Helen. Okay, so comment in the chat. Let me know. Do you tend to have a plan? Oh, do you tend to have a plan for? I'll just put this text here for what you want to learn in the year. Have you done a learning plan before? Just let me know what's your starting point. And if the answer is, I'm not even sure what a learning plan is, or I've never done one before, like whatever your answer is totally fine, completely fine. So do you tend to have a plan? Like, do you think ahead of time? Hi, Domitilla, welcome. Do you tend to have a plan for what you're going to learn in the year? Say more about that in the chat, please. And you may also want to talk about, when you think about your learning, like what is and isn't working for you when you think about learning. Masline has a draft plan. And by the way, if I mispronounce your name, please let me know in the chat. You can DM me or you can just send me the message and let me know. Agrino just stumbled on things to learn and go ahead and register. Nice. Okay. Yeah, there's no perfect way to do this, right? Everyone has their own ways. Nuha, our plans are set and listed in our objectives and indicators at the very beginning of the year. Nice. Okay. So notice the breadth, right? The difference. Everyone comes at this quite differently. Lucy, I don't have a plan. Lorraine, yes, but depends on budget and time. Yes, time zone differences. Yes. Okay, great. Okay. So, and Nidhi is saying not a structured one, mostly ad hoc. Okay, great. And there's benefits, right? To having a plan, to being strategic. And there's also benefits to reacting to opportunities that come up. So both are great. Ruth is also saying ad hoc. Okay, great. Okay, so know that help is at hand. We're going to talk about different components of a learning plan. And here, she says, with a bit of a drum roll, is your learning plan sheet. Okay, Carmilla is saying, I always have an idea of areas I'd like to learn about. However, I don't follow a strict plan. Great. Caroline, no, I tend to just wing it with different learning tools available. Great. Heather, I don't have a plan and have no time allocated. Oh, you don't have any time at work allocated for learning. So it doesn't happen. Yeah. Okay. So hopefully my plan here, pun intended, plan, is that no matter if you have time at work allocated and budget, no matter if you're very structured about it or ad hoc, that you'll be able to create this very flexible plan that works for you. Hi, Faith, welcome. Okay, so in the chat is the link. So you need to if you want to edit the worksheet, you need to download it. And once you download it, it becomes editable. So this is what it looks like. So there's 2 pages to it. Here's the second page, and we're going to go through each of the sections, and then there's time for questions. We will have time for, because I want this to be in a method that works for you. I'm hoping to get 2 sessions where you can either work in small groups on your learning plan, or if you want to stay in the large session, you can hang out and we can do kind of a Q&A. So you can have your choice with that time. Okay, so we'll go through roughly half of the learning plan, and then we'll take a quick break roughly at the top of the hour, and then we'll go through the other half of the learning plan. Okay, so learning plans. So why are they so important? One of the reasons is that they give you a vision. They give you a vision. So I'm going to invite you to, and I know depending on where you are, you can adapt this depending on your circumstances. But if you are comfortable, please feel free to just relax. You may, if you're wearing glasses, you may wish to take your glasses off, We're going to do a little short guided visualization. If it's comfortable for you, you can close your eyes. If that doesn't feel comfortable for you, you can let your gaze soften and either look up or look down, whatever works best for you. I will play some music here in just a sec. So just let me know if you can hear the music. I'm just going to play this here. So is that music coming through okay? Okay, great. So again, if you're at work and you feel a little self-conscious, just do whatever feels comfortable for you if you're at work in a public place. Okay, so feel free to take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Deep breath in and a deep breath out. Yeah, Nuha, if you're in the office, just do whatever works for you. Yeah, for some of you, your weekend is about to start. Yeah. If you find your attention wandering, you can just bring your attention back to your breath. Another deep breath in and a deep breath out. Now imagine that you are scanning your body, starting at your toes, working your way up, and you're looking for any areas of tension, any areas that you might be holding tight, any areas that feel stiff or uncomfortable. You find some of those areas as you scan your body, relax them, try to let that tension go. Scan your toes, your feet, your ankles, up through your calves, your knees. Your thighs, your buttocks, your stomach, your chest, your neck, your shoulders. Make sure your shoulders are down and down. Arms, elbows, arms, hands, your fingers. Now your neck, your face. Pay attention to your jaw. That was a little bit of tension in your jaw. I want you to relax your jaw. Calm the rest of the body. Muscles in your eyes, eyebrows, forehead, and your ears. And in this relaxed state, I like to imagine walking along in a beautiful place. It's sunny. Temperature is just perfect. Not too hot, not too cold. Beautiful trees. And as you walk along in this forest, you see a beautiful old bridge. I see the comment in the chat and I'll answer that in just a second. Right? And as you walk towards this bridge, it's beautiful. It's over a little small, crystal clear little river. As you walk over this bridge, you see there's a beautiful carved bridge And on the other side of the bridge, there is this box, as I mentioned. And as you walk to this box, you pick it up and you look inside this box. And there's some writing in this box. It's a beautiful old piece of paper. And on this piece of paper, you've written things that you learn in the next 10 minutes. Things that you learned in the next 10 months. You've learned 10 years from now. They just magically appear on this piece of paper. And you can do this for yourself, or a client, or a team, or a unit, or an organization. You can see that learning as you wish. You can frame it as you wish. You can do this as a or a client, team, a unit, organization, your community group, whatever you wish. So take a minute to look at what does that piece of paper look like? What you want to learn in the next 10 minutes, 10 months, and 10 years from now. Now bring your attention back to present day, to the room that you're in, the space that you're in. You might want to wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes, remembering what was revealed on this piece of paper. So when you're ready, open your eyes, and we will continue with the first couple of sections of the learning plan worksheet. And by the way, thank you for doing that. I know sometimes for some people doing a guided visualization is very natural and comfortable, and others are like, you want me to close my eyes in public? So let me know when you're back. If you can just put a little emoji in the chat if you wish, or and I'll just share the first two sections of the learning plan. Okay, so thanks, Nidhi. Welcome back, everyone. And by the way, yeah, I hope that was helpful and relaxing for you. And some people can visualize things very easily. It comes to them right away. If you're like, Leanne, I didn't see anything on that piece of paper, not to worry at all. It's just to kind of get you into a space to be innovative and creative and relaxed at the same time. Okay, so again, the link to the learning plan, I'll put this in the chat again. So again, once you download it, you can edit it. So the first section, you may wish to put kind of random thoughts there, things that pop up for you that you're not sure where to put them. You might want to do little doodles. You can put emojis in there and symbols and such. So feel free to do that. And then on the other side is a space for your vision. So, and again, I love the question that Lorraine asked. The frame of this can be whatever you want. This can be your learning plan. It can be the start of a learning plan with a community group, for a client, a team, a unit, an organization, whatever you wish. So great question. So you may, if you want to, you can jot down a few ideas there, kind of your vision for the year ahead. So for example, for me, I'm trying on some really big learning projects, which I'm really excited about. They have to do with online on-demand courses. So my vision for the year ahead, kind of broadly speaking, is to be a bit of a scientist and do a whole bunch of experiments when it comes to online on-demand courses. So that's part of my vision. Let me know in the chat if you want to share any of that or any ideas. What's your vision for the year ahead? It's interesting times, right? Coming out of the pandemic, and lots of things are, continuing to be upside down. Any examples that you want to share? And if you wish, you can also unmute if you want and share. And no pressure to. And never feel any pressure to share if you don't want to, if these things are private. Okay, welcome LACMAO 5, which is a really great opportunity for me to say, if you're a UN staff person and your screen name doesn't match the name that you want to get on your certificate, just make sure you change your screen name there. Okay, so Carla's saying, look for IT tools to help me perform better at work. Oof, that is one of my favorite topics, Carla. I love that. I have a huge list of IT tools that pop up every Tuesday as a reminder, and I try one new one a week. Oh, love that. Love that. And I've done several roundtables on that. So if you're a member, you can go into the huge, long 10-year list of roundtables and look those up if you're interested. Anyone else? What's your vision for the year? Anyone else want to share? Part of my, when I was doing some planning for the year, I realized I do more planning and not enough strategy. So I want to do more strategy before I, in addition to the planning. Caroline, practice meditation and work-life balance. Oh, Caroline, I have a work-life balance online course, and there's one that I teach in person for UN staff. So there's some resources there for you. Asma, I'm starting over for the sake of me and my daughter. Nothing much to make, just slowing down and getting things done with patience and acceptance of mistakes to make things better. Asma, I hope that you copy that, my wish for you is that you copy that comment and you put it in your vision. It's so beautifully stated. Sometimes our visions are just full of, I want to do this and 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 this, and that ends up getting really overwhelming. So I love that your vision is, and by the way, I would take out the word just as in just slowing down. Slowing down is a beautiful thing, taking things off your plate. Ruth, facilitation certification, nice. Needy, I'd like to get mentor at least 3 young. Oh, I'd like to mentor 3 young professionals. Oh, nice. Okay, so those are some great things there, Ruth. Breathing and meditation skills. Oh, great, Ruth. Yeah, I have a group that I join in. So I'm in Nairobi, and I have a group that I join online out of Vancouver every Wednesday, and I meditate for half an hour, which if you told me a year ago that I would be able to meditate for half an hour, I would have said, clearly you don't know me very well. And for UN staff, I feel like I'm saying UN staff a lot. Anyone is welcome here. And UN staff have free access to, it's the Headspace app, I think it is. Yeah. LACMAO 5, reducing the time taken to implement strategies. Oof, nice. It's all about process, right? Getting processes. Yeah, I've been working on my SOP, my standard operating procedures for my VA. It has been a game changer. Lorraine, Leanne. Oh, yeah, no worries if you have to drop. I trust that you'll do what works for you. Dorothy, gain more grounding on policy development. Nice. Okay, so that's kind of to kick us off, right? Is this idea of vision. Let's continue on with some other parts of the learning plan. Okay, we've got Masleen coming in. Hi, Mesleen. Welcome. I can see you're on 2 different devices. So welcome. So glad you're here. Can someone just grab the link to the learning plan? When folks come in, they don't see the previous chat. So if someone can copy and paste it in the chat for her or him or they, that would be great. Okay, so let's talk about, we've talked about learning plans help you with your vision. They also, thank you, Carla, I appreciate that. They also help you be strategic and proactive about your goals. So instead of being reactive, they help you be proactive. So let me just kind of give you an example of what that looks like here. Come on, you.
Whoa, that's not good.
Oh, I don't need this. I'm already late.
Somebody will come. Anybody out there?
Do you have a phone?
No. Sorry. Somebody! Hello? There are 2 people stuck on an escalator and we need help. Now, would somebody please do something?
Help!
I don't believe this. You gotta be kidding me.
I'm gonna cry.
Well, there's not enough left to do, is there?
Okay, right. And Dorothy's saying they should just walk. Yeah, and I'm not sure about you, but when when I saw that for the first time, it just really made me giggle. The challenge, and maybe you can think about this examples for yourself, is when we see other people getting stuck and not being strategic and not being proactive, it's really easy for an outsider to say, all you need to do, in this case, is to walk up the escalator. And of course, this is an extreme example, but sometimes it's really hard to see when we get stuck. And if there's just a really simple tweak we can make to get unstuck. Oh, no worries, Mesleen. I know the internet goes in and out. I was panicking a little because our whole neighborhood has been having internet issues for a couple of weeks. So we're on track though, knock on wood. So, okay. So with that learning plan, you may wish to go to section 3 and 4 and think about some goals. So we talked about your vision, like think of that as being, big, high on top of the mountain. And then think about some more specific goals and related to those goals, what are some skills and knowledge that you might need to, focus on? So for example, for me, my vision is to really do some to really focus on-demand online courses and how I can deliver content that way in really engaging, creative, fun, interesting ways. So some of my goals are there'll be some technical things around that I need to work with my web designer on. Also, I really want to look at metrics. So I want to work with my virtual assistant to get better at measuring my metrics. I also want to take some courses on PowerPoint. I've taken one already. Training Magazine, by the way, is a great resource. I do a whole bunch of courses through them, and it's all free. And then related to that, of course, skills and knowledge is this PowerPoint. I want to do some work around DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. So those are some of my things. Hi, Precious. Welcome. We're working on our learning plan, and we're on we've gone up to section 4, and the link is here to get that. So as soon as you download it, you can edit it. Ida, yes, Training Magazine. It is now it's very US centric, and for free, as long as you get an account, you can get access to thousands of courses. So I try to take one of their webinars once a week. So part of my learning plan is a process to make learning easy for me. And I track that every week. So I try to take one webinar every week. Okay, any thoughts, any examples of your goals and skills and knowledge that you want to pick up? So any examples of goals or skills and knowledge that you want to learn? We're just kind of keeping it really broad. We're going to get much more specific later. But share any examples if you wish. Jacinta, gain more knowledge on negotiation skills and strategy. Okay, great. Oh, I did like a 5-day course for Unsalm and Unsauce on negotiation and collaboration, and a couple of 5-day different courses. It's a great topic. And there might, I'm not sure if I've done a roundtable on that, but if you remember, you can go back and look for that if you wish. Caroline, improve my presentation skills. Great, nice. There's definitely roundtables on that as well. Caroline, if you want to look for that resource, if you remember. Anything else? And ideally those things, they live together, right? So you have a goal and then you can think about, because there'll be already skills and knowledge that you already have. And then what other ones do you need to gain in order to reach that goal? Martial, improve my French, learn, oh boy, Darija, let me know if I said that right. Read books regularly. Nice. Yeah, I'm with you on the French. I use Duolingo for that. Precious, improve assertiveness in the workplace. Lovely. Oh, these are so great. No, Veronica's just coming in. Okay, lovely. Okay, so Asma, IELTS. Oh, help me understand what that is. If you want to share. I don't know what IELTS is. Okay, so we've got our vision. You kind of got a rough plan of that. We've got some goals. We've got some skills and knowledge that go with that. The other thing that learning plans do is they help you stretch. So you may wish to go back to your goals. Some goals are, what we call like a little like molehill, like, super easy. I take half an hour and boom, it's done. Others are more like Mount Everest, like they're really stretch goals. So you may wish to look at your goals and think, okay, do I have some easy to achieve? Those are really comfortable. And then am I also stretching myself? Asma saying International English Language Testing System. Oh, nice. Good for you. One of the books I love, I learned so much about this, and this is so random. I just happened to pick this book up at my friend Jackson's. He has a lodge in the Masai Mara. I know this sounds very strange for people who don't live in Kenya. This book was just on the bookshelf and it was so great. Smarter, Faster, Better, The Secrets of Being Productive. I've written probably at least one blog post on it. So here's the link to my blog. If you want to, you can Google his name and see what I've written. It's not a great title because it's not so much about, I think, about being productive, but it's really lovely around helping you stretch. Okay, so we have, let's go on to, so we've talked about your goals. Is there any examples of stretch goals? For me, as definitely a stretch goal, I'm doing a lot of like mindset work on this and training and working with team people, is getting my content be able to be delivered on demand online. So people can take courses whenever they wish, 2 a.m., 2 p.m. So for me, that's a big stretch goal. And know that for some people, what's a stretch goal for me might be like easy peasy for you, and what's, really, really simple for you, or, a stretch goal for you might be really achievable, easily achievable by someone else. So no judgments around what's a stretch goal. So any examples of stretch goals? Just putting this in the chat. Let me know there. Any example, and you may also, some of the examples you gave before might be examples of stretch goals. I'm going to guess, Asma, and correct me if I'm wrong, that getting your IELTS, your International English Language Testing System certificate, I guess, or I'm not sure, is probably a stretch goal. Yeah, says Asma. Yeah, Paul's saying you have to drop off. Yeah, so if you're a member, you'll get all the resources early next week. So, and I'll talk more about that before the break. Okay, so let's continue on. So learning plans, I like to think that they help you realize that you're not alone. So I think learning plans, for those of you who this fits your learning style, can be incredibly social. So for example, has anyone heard of Lunch Club? Or has anyone used Lunch Club? Oh, whoops, I put an extra E in the chat there. Should be .com. Nidhi may try learning some Spanish to work closely with our partners in Latin America. Great. Yeah, language learning is usually a stretch goal for people. It's not easy. So Marcial has not heard of Lunch Club. So Lunch Club is kind of like LinkedIn, but live, and it's free. So basically you sign up, and some of you pay attention to your reactions. So some of you might go, I'm signing up right now, and others might be like, that's not for me. And we'll get to the part of the learning plan later that can help you distinguish the ways that you prefer to learn. But if you do like a social component to it, oh, by the way, Panina's saying stretch goal, publish my research article someday. Woohoo! That's great. Good for you, Panina. I would encourage you to put a timeline on that. That might help you. Okay, so Lunch Club, you sign up for free, and basically you create a profile. So just like you would on LinkedIn, if you use LinkedIn, and then you say the things that you are interested in. So you can use it as part of your learning plan. So you say, I want to learn presentation skills or whatever you want. Then they will match you up automatically with other people around the world. And you tell them when you want to meet. So you can do this once a week, Thursday at 9 a.m. or, whatever you want. And they'll match you up with a person that you then have a live in real time online conversation with through their platform. So let me know in the chat, does that sound appealing to you, or is that like, that's not my thing? So let me know in the Theodosius. Wow. Yeah. Now I do want to say, so it's interesting to some, so three people. Yeah. So far. So know that the quality of the match can really vary, right? So I've had conversations where I'm just like, I'm just so fascinated by the person, and we just hit it off and, have a great time and really, really have a great connection. And other people, I'm like, by the way, wants to try it. By the way, for me, I don't know if this would be the same thing for you, is for me, it's frustrating if I get online with Lunch Club. Hi, Hadija, welcome. And all the person wants to do is it's not a two-way conversation. They just want to talk. And there's no collaboration. There's no back and forth. So Asma saying it sounds rejuvenating. Okay, I agree, no problem. We'll see when you can come back. Yeah, so that's one example. So think about, the number 5 on the learning plan here do you have any key people that you could, or key people or key programs such as Lunch Club, that you think could help you with your learning plan. So some of you talked about wanting to be a mentor before. You know, if you want to mentor, maybe this is a place to think about that. It's kind of thinking about who else in your orbit, who else in your community could be involved in this learning plan. Any examples other than Lunch Club? Like, are people looking for a mentor or a coach? By the way, again, for UN people, New York is just launching a coaching pilot. So I can't tell you anything more about that yet because it's not ready, but there hopefully soon will be a coaching program available for UN staff. And there is a mentoring program out of New York as well for UN staff. So Ruth was saying would like a coach and a mentor. Yeah. So you might want to put that in that section. Ida, LinkedIn groups. Oh, I'm glad you mentioned that. We're going to talk a little bit more about that later. Yeah. So if you know that you're already on LinkedIn a lot, maybe part of that key, people/groups, it could include a LinkedIn group. It could include people whose blog you follow or your newsletter that you get. Like, how can you make this easy for yourself by strategically including others? Okay. Any comments, questions about that? Yeah, I mean, this isn't rocket science, right? It's about kind of being deliberate, strategic, purposeful in investing in you, right? Investing in your learning. Okay, so then let's go on to the next one. So learning plans help you be resilient, agile, and flexible. I think, in today's workplace with the pace of change. Oh, by the way, I'll talk more about this later, but February's Learning and Development Roundtable, the copy is up on my website, and it's all about managing change. And that's based on participants' feedback on what they wanted to have roundtables on, which I'm going to ask you too. There's another poll coming up. So use this in a way to help you be resilient, agile, and flexible. Now, this is one that kind of can be a little bit hard for people to wrap their heads around. So it might take some more thinking on your part, but I passionately, strongly believe that if we have habits and systems that support our learning, we're much, 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 much more likely to learn better, to retain our learning, to be able to share our learning, use our learning, etc. So what do I mean by systems? So I'll give you some examples in the chat here. So for example, for me, I try to bookend my days to really support a very healthy, productive, interesting workday. And what do I mean by bookends? So I have a little, here it is. I have a little chart here. And if you're like, oh, Leanne, this is too much. Like, I can't even, pay attention to your reactions and take the ones that you like, and then just leave the rest. So bookends are how I start and end my professional day. And I know that if I start off with, I have, you may know the poet, philosopher Rumi. If I read one of his poems, it takes me 30 seconds. It sits right underneath my computer. I put a little check on that on this worksheet. If I drink 3 things of water, I just feel better during my day. That's not a true bookend because it's throughout the day. If I go for a walk, if I do some yoga, if I stretch, if I make some art, if I light a candle, all different ways just kind of start and continue on and end my day. And I like this idea, and I read this in the book called Breaking the Habit of Being You, mystic experiments. So be a mad scientist, just try some stuff. And if it doesn't work, if it doesn't help you learn better, if that particular habit system doesn't work, just let it go and try another one. How can you record your learning? There's all sorts of different fun ways. Has anyone used 1SE? Does anyone know that app? Let me know in the chat if you know that app. One SE. Oh, Dorothy, you like that bookend idea? Yeah, and your bookends will be probably, maybe some of them might be the same as me, but they're meant to really be specifically for you. So what would help you? And make a little list, start your day and end your day. And so you're healthy, you're on top of things, you feel well, etc. So Ruth, bookends means like, so you know how a bookend is at the beginning and the end of a stack of books. So a bookend is how do you start and end your day? And you can have how do you start and end your personal day, and how do you start and end your professional day? You have them whether you know them or not, right? Turning on your computer, checking email, da 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 da. But if you create some habits and systems around some very deliberate bookends, it can really help with your learning as well as your overall wellness. Okay, One SE is a really cool app, and you take a picture every day and then it turns it into a movie like that. And yeah, it's just really, really fun. So is that a system or a habit that you want to get into that would help your learning? I use an app called Toggle. It's fantastic, super easy to use and free to track my time. So I use a whole bunch of I use a combination of Trello, which is like a project management tool. I use Toggle, and then I use a weekly paper, where is it? A couple of paper things where I write down, I plan out my day, how many hours, each thing is going to take, and then what I actually spent, and then I put that in Toggle. So for me as a consultant, if you contract me to work with your team to do a team building, if I take, and we agree on the price, if I take, I'm going to make an extreme example, 30 days to get ready, or if I take 1 day to get ready to do that team building, I get paid the same. So for me, habits and systems are so important, because I really want to spend my time on designing really cool, interesting, creative learning versus like, where's that thing, da 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 da. So Toggle helps me track my time. I have like 3 years of data now. So I know exactly how much time I'm working with clients, how much time I've spent on my professional development, my learning, how much time I'm spending on email, all those kinds of things. Irva, you're saying, please put them in the messages. So help me understand, what do you want in the message? I'm not quite sure what you mean. Ida, I use a custom Excel sheet tracker to track my readings by chapter a day. Lovely. Yeah, I track my clients. So clients that have expressed an interest in working with me, that goes in a particular Excel spreadsheet. Marshall Leanne, kindly advise again the benefit of having a bookend. Oh, so Marcial, so bookends help you be strategic and deliberate about how you start and end your day. So instead of feeling carried away and not in control of things, one of the biggest stressors is when we feel like we don't have control, right? When things are just like that, can quickly lead to overwhelm. I'm allergic to overwhelm. If I'm feeling overwhelmed, I am really not in a good place. So bookends help you feel in control. They start and end your day in a positive way. They contribute to your wellness, your work-life balance, all those kinds of things. And it depends on kind of what your bookends are. They can contribute to your physical health too. If, for example, a bookend is, I'm going to start my day every day going for a walk, for example. Oh, Irva, you saw them. Okay, great. Okay, Ida, hopefully we'll see you come back there. Okay, so we are at the top of the hour. We're about halfway through there. So just before the break, I would invite you to think about future Learning and Development Roundtable. So I'm going to pull up a poll in just a second. Oh, Asma saying, I have a whiteboard to track changes my daughter makes. Nice. Oh, hi, Thea. Nice to see you here. I need to step out for a meeting. Yes, yeah, hopefully you can come back later. Nice to see you, Thea. Okay, so let me just launch this poll here. I will give you a minute before to do this. So you should see this on your screen. And it's just one question, and you can pick as many as you like. You don't have to pick just one. So I would love to know from you topics that you're interested in future roundtables. February's planned, but the rest of the year is open. So one of them is mindset. I have to say it's the best, one of the top 2 books I read last year is Mindset. Probably the #1 skill you're not paying attention to. I was floored what a massive difference mindset makes and what that means, what's that about. Career satisfaction, quiet quitting, keeping motivated at work. New York has kind of talked to me about some of those things. So if you're interested in that, again, you can pick as many as you want. You don't have to pick just one. Systems to save your sanity. So we were just talking about habits and systems. So I have a whole piece I could do on helping you get organized, and I want to say productive, but also it's not about like doing more for the sake of doing more. It's also being more efficient and effective and productive so that you can do less, right? People have been mentioning stuff around self-care. Another thing on my learning plans, I sometimes use the roundtable to drive my learning plan, or maybe it's the other way around. So I'll take a deep dive into a topic and then create a roundtable on it. And one of the things I was thinking about is technology, specifically AI. So I'm sure a lot of you have heard of is it GPT? Like I want to learn more about that. And then managing up how to effectively build your brand. So feel free to, thanks, Martin, ChatGPT. Have you used it, Martin? I'd love to know. I watched a couple of videos on it. It's just amazing, amazing, amazing. Okay, and then while you're thinking about that poll, I would like, I don't know if she's on the call. You're going to try it soon. Okay. So a couple things. So last roundtable, we don't have a roundtable in December. So the last one was November, and folks learned a tech tool to make a thank you card. Because every year I like to thank the Nairobi folks who helped promote the roundtable and the New York folks. They were thrilled. They were so thrilled. So every month, so thank you for that. And then also know that every month I ask people for feedback on the roundtable, and to say thank you for that. You're entered, if you wish, to win my online course called Ban Boring Online Meetings. So the person who won, whose name was pulled because she filled in the survey, the feedback survey, which the link is in the chat, is Charity O. So she'll be getting an email and be able to access the Ban Boring Online Meetings course for free. And then just before we break, just one thing, please, if you haven't already, I'll put this all in the chat here. Please become a member. The thing about becoming a member is that you get access to all of the resources, so all 10 years. So in the chat there is the link to become a member, or you can scan the QR code. My VA made that for the first time. I was kind of excited about that. The February roundtable is up, so the link is in the chat. It's all about 6 skills to help you manage change. Please share the membership link. It's free to join to become a member. Please share it. If you could send it to 2 people right now, that would be fabulous. Would help our community grow. And then I also put some upcoming dates there. So that's a lot. Thank you. We're going to take a 5-minute break. And when you come back, we're going to finish with the roundtable. We're going to finish with the learning plan. So thank you. You are all rock stars. I appreciate your energy, your passion for learning, your attention, your engagement, your participation. What did I say? 5? Yeah, 5 minutes. No, hang on. Let me just check that. 10 minutes. Yeah. So we'll take a 10-minute break. So I'll see you back in 10. I'll pause the recording, take a stretch, hug a tree, hug a cat, whatever you want, hug your kid, say hello to a colleague, whatever you like. See you in 10, everyone. Thank you. Hi, everyone. Welcome back from the break, or hello again to future you if you're watching the recorded version of this or listening to the audio recording. And thanks to those who have joined the roundtable. I can see folks have been doing that. So fantastic. And I know some of you just came in or just came back. So I'm just going to put this in the chat again. So here's how to become a member and the February roundtable description and the dates for the rest of the year. Okay, so how are you doing? Any questions so far? We've got half of the learning plan covered, the vision and your goals and folks to support you and things like that. Anything you're stuck on? Any questions so far? Let me know in the chat, or you can unmute too and ask a question if that's easier. Okay. Then let's continue. I know it takes longer to type stuff, so I try to leave enough time if you have a question, but if you do, put it in the chat and I'll get to that. Otherwise, let's continue on. So I had someone, actually I forgot to mention, with the roundtable resources, someone said to me that the slide deck is not always very useful in an after play setting. Know that, yes, you get a copy. If you're a member, you get a copy of the slide deck, but you also get a copy of the audio recording and the video recording. So those things come together, as well as all of the resources. I put it together in a workbook. So any of the resources I talk about are in the workbook, and you'll get that if you're a member early next week. It'll come out. I just wanted to respond to that piece of feedback in the survey. Okay, so when I asked in November what people wanted to learn about a learning plan, someone said, how do you get motivated? So how do you get and stay motivated? So that's this particular section. Carmela has a question. What time zone do the timings of future roundtable dates? Thanks, Carmela. So all of those dates are EAT, East African time, and you'll notice that they flip. So every second month, it's at 5 p.m. East Africa time, so that it's time zone friendly for the Americas. And every other roundtable, like this one, is at 10 a.m. So it's friendly for parts of Asia, Europe, and Africa. So I know time zones are tough. Okay, so motivation. So I've got a whole bunch of tips for you here because motivation is one of my passions. So I'm going to play this little clip here for you to start us off.
The way that Phil Knight used to talk about Nike, I don't know if you've ever heard the story. He was speaking at a large conference, and he stood up and he said to the audience, if any of you have ever run for exercise, can you please stand up? Most of the room stood up. He said, if you run at least once a week, please keep standing, everybody else sit down. Most of the room sits down. He says, if you run twice a week, please keep standing. He says, if you run 3 times a week, rain or shine, regardless of the weather or the temperature, please keep standing. There's now a smattering of people in the room. And he looks out at them and he says, the next time you're out there before the sun is up, it's dark, it's cold, and it's wet, and you're running by yourself, we're the ones standing under the lamppost cheering you on. That's how he described Nike. And in an instant, you understand what just do it means. It has nothing to do with winning. It has everything to do with trying. It has everything with doing. And his story, his ability, his narrative captured that so exquisitely. And when Nike's at their best, they celebrate the ones who do, not the ones who win.
And I tell you how much I love this video. This is Simon Sinek, in case you're not familiar with him. I did a roundtable. One of his best known pieces of work is on discovering your why. And there's a whole roundtable on that. He has a book about it and a workbook. And I walked people through how to discover your why. It's fantastic. So may we celebrate doing and trying, and may we all be a lamppost and shine light on others. In other words, helping keep them motivated. And speaking of which, in the number 6, the habit and systems section, you may want to think about ways to keep yourself motivated. Like really, that's another way to think about the systems. How can they help you stay motivated? So here are, because you specifically asked in the feedback from the November roundtable, here are 7 tips for getting and staying motivated. So, Ruth is saying, who is he again? So his name is Simon Sinek. He has one of the most watched TED Talks. It's fantastic, really interesting work he does. Okay, so has anyone seen this will skill matrix? Has anyone seen the will skill matrix? You may wish, when you think about some of your learning goals, you're welcome, Ruth. When you think about some of your learning goals, Lorraine, you've seen it, great. You may wish to put yourself on this matrix. Yeah, it's a great tool. I agree. So you might want to think about, in terms of your skill. So your skill here. So do you have a high level of skill in something that relates to your learning plan, or a low level of skill? So is it something that you need to kind of refresh a bit, or are you a beginner and you really need to, if this is one of your goals, that you really need to kind of take a deep dive? And then think about your will. Another way to think about this is your motivation, right? Do you have very low motivation? Like maybe this is something that you have to learn, but it's not a priority for you. It's something that someone else is telling you, a team member, supervisor, etc. Okay, so is your will quite low? Or is your will quite high? So you can work on your motivation accordingly based on this will skill metric. Okay, let me just clear that off. Let me know if you have any comments about that. You also, in addition to your will skill matrix, you may also wish to track your learning. I think we don't do this enough. We really don't track our learning enough. And ideally, you track it in a way that makes it easy to share with others, right? One of the best way to learn something is to teach it to someone else. So for me, I use templates. So anytime I take a workshop, I go to a conference, I take a webinar, I have a template that tracks what I've learned. I also make notes for myself because I'm a trainer of trainers, notes on the actual training itself. There's a resource section. There's an action section. So I will share that template with, I'll put that in the workbook. So members will get that template. You can copy it and then use it yourself. So that will be there in the workbook. As I mentioned, I track my time, so I know exactly how much time I'm spending, including on my learning. I use a tool. Oh, Ruth is saying the grid was not visible. Oh, let me just go back. This grid here, Ruth. So this is the will skill matrix, and I encourage, when you're trying to learn something, basically ask yourself, what's my motivation, what's my will, and what's my skill level? And especially if your motivation level is low, you may need to, because you're doing something that you're not super keen on learning about, you may need to especially work on motivation. Okay, and then tracking your learning. One of the things that I use is a tool called Digo. It's a social bookmarking tool. Sometimes it's really hard, you know, you find something, you think, oh, I want to go back to that, but then you try to go back to it and you can't find it. This is a great tool for bookmarking things in the cloud online. Does anyone else use a social bookmarking tool like Digo or any others? If we end up, I'll look at those results from the poll I did about what topics you want. If we do a systems to keep you sane, this would be a tool that I would include there. Does anyone use a social bookmarking tool like Digo? Makes it so simple to find things, find your learning, track your learning, etc. Yeah, Anita, it's really a great tool, and there's 2 eyes in it if you're Googling it there. I also for tracking my learning, I have a sheet that I use every week, and on the left-hand side, it has what I'm learning that week. So I try to watch one webinar every week, and I try to read one short report related to something I want to learn, like a white paper or whatever. And then I have at least one professional development book on the go, rather. And then I track what I did on the other side of the paper. If you're thinking, oh, Leanne, that is like so much, remember that I'm a learning and development professional. So I figure if I'm not learning, then I'm not a very ethical learning and development professional. So you may not have as much of a focus on learning. So just whatever works for you. So 2 tips there. Locate yourself on the will skill matrix, track your learning, and that often makes it easier to share your learning, and it keeps you motivated, right? Like all of these things I've learned. I mentioned this earlier. Think of yourself sometimes we put a lot of pressure on ourselves. I've got to do this, I've got to do this, I've got to do this, and it just gets to be overwhelming, and we actually become unmotivated. So I think it can be helpful to think of yourself as a scientist doing experiments. So I'm going to try this, and I'm going to give myself permission ahead of time, if it's not working for me, to leave it behind. So that's another way that you can get and stay motivated. A 4th way is you can take my motivation assessment. So I'll put the link in the chat. There's 6 different ways, 6 different styles of motivation, and you can take the survey and find out which one or ones relate best to you. And I'm going to do a future blog post on this, but here are some different things that can motivate those particular styles. So if you are motivated by achievement, like I'm hugely motivated, like I want to accomplish the goals, I want to get things done. If you gamify things, if you measure your progress, if you have a checklist. So in my bookend thing that I showed you earlier here, it's kind of all 3 in one. So I check off things that I've done, and it's kind of gamified because there's 2 different categories. One, I get 1 point, one, I get 2 points, and I can see my progress. So those are some things. Let me know in the chat. Does anyone think you're motivated by achievement? Like just guessing, just take a guess. Let me know in the chat. So you like to get things done, check things off your list, reach your goals. If you are motivated by power, another way to say that is you like to take a leadership role. So if you're motivated by power, and by the way, all of these styles have their good days and their bad days. So achievement, don't talk to me, I got to get this done. I'm not eating, I'm not sleeping, that's achievement on a bad day. Power on a bad day, of course, you can abuse your power. If you think you're motivated by power, then something that can keep you motivated is to lead a group, is to share your learning, is to teach what you've been learning, or is to be a mentor to someone else. If you're motivated by affiliation, that's social, right? Those are people who like to be in touch, in community with other people. So possible motivators for that style are get a learning partner, get a mentor, get a coach, do something called like lunch club. We talked about that earlier, or join a Facebook group, a LinkedIn group, things like that. If you're motivated by autonomy, that is, you want to do things on your own, right? You want to have autonomy. So your possible motivators, it depends on you, right? So you can select from all of the other options, right? You're autonomous, you want to do your own thing. So you can select the ones there that resonate for you. If you are motivated by external, that's things outside of yourself, then you can treat yourself after achieving a goal. You can get a certificate. Oftentimes, people are really motivated by certificates. If a course gives a certificate at the end of it, and you can promise yourself a gift, right? If you complete this course, if you do 3 webinars, in a month or whatever, you'll buy yourself a gift. If you're motivated by the future, so that's you might be motivated by mitigating, climate change, or working on, anti-racism work, or gender-based violence, or making the world a better place somehow for your great grandchildren one day. So things that are in the future. You can follow people who are in the same subject matter, that you have the same subject interest as, who are motivating to you. You can do affirmations, and you can also measure your progress, right, towards, decreasing violence, things like that. Okay, that was a lot of information. Comments, questions? Does that land? Welcome, Azel. Thank you for joining us. We're talking about 7 tips for getting motivated. So before I go on to the next, this is tip number 3. 4, actually. Comments, questions. And again, I took this from the feedback from last month's survey, or November's survey, which I'll share with you at the end of this roundtable. So you can tell me what you want to have for our next roundtable and give me feedback. Okay, then let's continue. Okay, so we've done find yourself on the will skill matrix, track your learning, think of yourself as doing all these experiments, and give yourself permission if something's not working, ditch it, do the motivations. Hi, Maria, welcome, thanks for joining us. You can also do searches. So I have actually have a motivation hashtag. So you can go into the Learning and Development Facebook group or my LinkedIn profile and search for hashtag motivation, and a whole bunch of stuff will come up, because that's a tag that I use a lot. Twice a week, actually, I do stuff that relate to motivation and inspiration. Okay, and then number 6, this again is for UN folks, but I briefly mentioned they are piloting a new coaching program. So they're just doing the pilot, so it's not publicly available. But once that does become available, I'll chat with the New York folks and let you know when that's available. But there's other kinds of coaching programs too, if you're not UN staff or you want something right away. Okay, and then the last one is you. So your ideas. So I've given you 6. What are some other ideas for keeping yourself motivated? What have you done that works for you? So let me know in the chat. Agri, Domitila, Ida, Jacinta, Kumiko, Lorraine, Martin, Jiroge, Ruth, Urvi, Maslin. What do you think? Or something that hasn't worked for you? So let's get some wisdom from the group. When you think about getting and staying motivated, what has worked for you? Let me know in the chat. Eye on the prize, Marcel, nice. Yeah, keeping your head up, knowing why you're doing something, maybe being clear on your vision, your why, as Simon Sinek would say, or if you're saying waking up at 5 a.m. and exercising in cold showers. Good for you. Yeah, so the benefit of doing it in the morning is you get it done, right? You're like, oof, I've started my day off in a way that I choose to. I'm feeling accomplished. some of you who are more night owls might be groaning at that thought. So part of motivation is knowing yourself and what works best for you. Ida's saying, checking on the list at the end of the day. Yes, I love, I go check, cross. Yeah, crossing off is such a great feeling. I agree. The benefit and the outcome of the exercise. Yeah, so being clear on how this is going to benefit you. Carmelia, clear reward at the, around the big picture and taking the time to reflect. Oh, I love that. Lots of us don't do that, right? Really taking some time. Maybe you make a reminder for yourself, like actually plunk it into your whatever reminder system you use, reflect on A, B, C, D. I love that. Ruth says being consistent and doing it at the time without fail. Nice. Niti, thinking together for a common goal. Oh, I love, so that's that affiliation piece, right? That's terrific. Okay. Great. Okay, so can I have your permission to continue? Oh, Ruth is saying, have someone else hold me accountable. That's great. Yeah, and notice how different these are, right? So some of you will be like, oof, I love that accountability partner idea. Other people are like, yeah, thanks, but no thanks. So pick the ones that work for you. Okay, are we good to continue? Give me a thumbs up, yes, in the chat. We're sliding into the end of the great. Okay, we're sliding into the end of the learning plan here. You're doing great. We've just about gone through all the sections here. Okay, so another key part is your preferred way of learning. So I think my hunch here, my guess, having been in the learning space for 30 plus years, long time, is that we get blinders on when it comes to how we can learn something. So far we've talked about what we want to learn, but we haven't talked about how we want to learn it. So at your leisure, you can download this checklist and it looks like this. And the idea is to, once you're clear on what you want to learn, think about how you want to learn it. So podcasts are a great example. Some people, let me know in the chat, put a yes or no to podcasts. So some podcasts are very dividing. People typically either like, oof, they're great, I love them, they're fantastic. Other people are like, no, they don't work for me. So so Ida is saying yes. Yeah, so let me know in the chat, are you interested in podcasts? So that checklist that I gave you, yeah, so Ruth likes them, Carla likes them, Lorraine, so that has an issue, okay. Marcia, haven't tried them, yeah. Vivian loves them, Carmela loves them. So you may wish to go through this checklist, and this is by no means an exhaustive list, but it's meant to open up the opportunities for how, Maslin is saying no idea, Asma is saying, yeah, this is meant to open up opportunities for how you learn something, because most of us can think, oh, that means I have to go to a workshop, or I have to go to a conference to learn that, or I have to, there's many different ways. And there's some kind of unusual ones on that checklist, like a visual field trip, right? If you're trying to learn French, you can go on to some country that speaks French and turn on Google Maps, the street view, and to help keep you motivated, like actually see, what it looks like there. There's apps, there's getting a mentor, there's going to looking, for magazines, a Facebook group, Pinterest, flashcards, gifts, micro learn, like there's so many things. So think about, as you go through that list, you may wish to, think like, oof, no, I don't want to use that method. This is a method that I would like to try. I've never tried that before. For example, podcasts, if that's new for you. And these other ones are like, yes, I know these work for me, and I want to try these. Okay, and again, that's number 12 on your learning plan, that downloaded document. Okay, so the the next piece here is you can use these learning plans as you wish. You can use it for personal development, professional development. You can use it for yourself as an individual, for your team, for your client, for a community group, for your organization. It's really, really flexible. And again, this can kind of be a foundational piece. Now, I want you to think about this next, actually, hang on, let me just explain this next piece first. So we're on number 8, 9, and 10. And some of you may have heard of the T process in human resources. I've expanded this into an I. And you can look at it as personal, but if you're doing this for a team or a unit or a community group, don't think of it as I as in me. Just think of it as the shape of the I. So what the heck am I talking about? Let me show you here. So number 8 here, the top, the broad band of the I are general things in your area of work or your personal life, however you're framing this, that you want to learn about. Now, I should point out this dotted line, and this is the first year. I've done this learning workshop 3 years, and every year I edit it for the roundtable. So some of you may wish on this side to put the things that you have already learned, you already know. And on this side, you may wish to put the things that you want to learn. Okay. Or you can ignore that line and just use the whole top of it. So let me just go back. So the top of the I are generally speaking, broadly speaking, things that you already know or you want to learn. You don't have to be an expert in them. They're related to your particular area, but you don't have to be a deep subject matter expert. The perpendicular part of the I, these are the deep expertise areas that you need to know for your particular area, your team, however you're filling this out. So let me give you an example. For myself, some broad general areas that I need to know for myself are metrics and analytics, okay? But I'm not a website analytics social expert. Because I have people on my team who can do that for me, but I need to have some kind of understanding. That would go there. Hi, Robert, welcome. So my deep subject matter expertise, these are things related to learning and development, the future of learning and development, training of trainers, digital engagement, conflict resolution. Those are all areas that I have a deep expertise in, and I'm always working on. Okay, and then that's where the normal T format in HR ends. But I think that we need to add this bottom and turn the T into the letter I. And these are kind of similar to number 8 in that they're general broad skills, except that they're irregardless of whatever field you're in. So they're related to being human, right? It doesn't matter if you're working on, you're an accountant, you're working in accounting, or you are a coach or a consultant. Unless you're living in a cave, somewhere completely remotely isolated forever, and you have nothing to do with people, this bottom piece of the I are things that we need to know because we're human. So if you're like, that kind of sounds interesting, but I don't really know what you mean, Leanne, you can kind of play around with this here. So I'll put this in the link. So for me, those foundational pieces that I think of are communication, conflict resolution, creativity, managing change. And you can play a game with those concepts on my website there. You can do this fortune teller thing. Okay, so I'm going to do the last piece here, and then I'll open it up in case you see where you're doing. Now, this next piece is 11. So this is our last one here. And know that some people love this section and some people are like, Leanne, I'm done. This is detailed enough. So however, if you love this and you want to fill this part of it in, go ahead. If you're like, that's way too detailed for me, then you may just want to make some notes in section number 1. By the way, the fold is on that worksheet. If you want to print it off, you can fold it so that you can kind of see things on both sides. It kind of has a neat flip feature there. Okay, so if you wish, you can get even more detailed by using the SAKE. So what do I mean by that? The SAKE is an acronym that I've designed where the S stands for skills, the A stands for attitudes, the E is experience, and the K is knowledge. So in the workbook that I'll send to the members, I'll give you much more information on this. But basically, let's say you want to learn more about DEI, so diversity, equity, and inclusion. You might want to break that down into, okay, so what particular skills do I want to learn? A for attitude is connected to your vision, your values, your motivation. So how am I going to align that with my vision for myself? How do those things connect? K is knowledge. So some theories, information, etc. And then the experience piece is actually using that learning. So again, let me know in the chat. Hang on here. So I have a text expander, and if I try to use it in the chat, it goes onto the slide. Okay, so oh gosh, so sorry, SAKE is one of my text. Okay, so I'm just going to put yay or nay. So what do you think? Are you drawn to the SAKE, or you're like, no, that's too detailed? Let me know in the chat. I'll put in the chat, I'll put a blog post. Ruth is yay. Okay. And if it's nay, I love that you know yourself like that. So if my husband was doing this, he'd be like, absolutely not. No, 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 no. But in the workbook, if you are interested, there'll be a link to a blog post and a bunch more information on the SAKE. Okay. Okay, lovelies. So we are just about at the end of our time. So I would love to give a few minutes, like 5 minutes or so before we close, over to, you can have your choice. We can stay in the large group and do some Q&As, or you can go into small groups. So let me know in the chat, just really quickly, let me know, because I don't want to take 5 minutes to decide. Is there anyone that would like to go into small groups to discuss your learning plan? Because then I'll put that feature on. And if we do that and you would rather stay in the large group, then you just don't accept the invitation to go into the large group. So small group, anyone? Just let me know quickly, because I don't want to spend 5 minutes. So Ruth wants large. Okay. Anyone else? So far, everyone's large. Okay. Okay. Okay, so then let's stay in large group. I don't see any small group, anyone asking for a small group. Okay, so ask me a question, or give us some tips in the chat. If you're like, oh, this thing made me think of this and I'd love to offer this suggestion. So give us some advice or ask me a question. Got a couple minutes for Q&A, and you can unmute or you can put your question in the chat, or your piece of advice. I'll go back to this piece here. Is there any particular area that you have a question about? Is there any, Okay, great. Marcel, thank you for sharing about the apps and the support group. I could check them out. Great, good. Yeah, this is really like, think of this as a template for you to make something that really fits you, right? So it's what you want and need to learn. It's your goals. It's your preferred ways of learning. It's your habits and systems. It's your, it's all about you. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention on the sheet, when you download it, the motivation style is hyperlinked. So if you want to click over immediately to that, you can do that. Okay, Carla, do you recommend to start with something that we can accomplish in a short time frame? Oh, that's a great question. So that relates to motivation, Carla. So I would say that it depends. And so it depends on, think of yourself, if you were all of a sudden, poof, a doctor, would you prefer to be an emergency doctor, or would you prefer to be I don't know, like say a pediatrician? So with an emergency doctor, your tasks are completed pretty quickly, right? You're meant to diagnose the patients, get them treated, and then they go off, they go home or they go off to another doctor. Or would you rather be a doctor that deals with patients on a longer term basis? Your answer to that question will illuminate part of your motivational style. So for me, I love to check. I'm so achievement oriented that I love to check things off my list. And 2 years ago, what I noticed is I would start my day by checking my email. And then the problem, I know this is a bit of a long answer, but the problem with that was that I was spending 2, sometimes 3 hours on email. So yes, I was checking off, responding to this person, but I wasn't getting any bigger strategic pieces done. So now I put that towards the end of my day. So Carla, that's a very long way of saying, if you feel like it would motivate you to get something done quickly, then I'd put some very limited, quick, achievable things to start with, but just make sure that doesn't expand into, 3, 4, or 5, hours of your day. Let me know if that makes sense. Okay, you're welcome. Ruth, sorry. Oh, no worries, no worries. Okay, yeah, and Marshall said about the apps. Yeah, I highly recommend that. Apps is on that learning checklist. I think many of us don't think about looking to an app to help teach us. So I, for example, use Duolingo. It's fantastic for learning languages. I use an app to learn how to play the piano. It's amazing. Simply Piano, so well designed. So well designed. Okay, any other questions before we close? You're welcome, Irvi. I'm hoping I'll look at those survey results and see about getting that LinkedIn work group done. Camilla, how does one use the skill will matrix to improve motivation? Say I'm high on will and low on able. How then do I increase my motivation? So that's a great question. So think of will as motivation. So if you're already high on will or motivation, then that's kind of taking care of itself and you can focus on the learning. If you're low on will / motivation, then you know that you have to pay attention to that. Yeah. Okay. So let me know if that, Asma's asking for the piano app. It's called Simply Piano. You do have to pay for it. It's not free, but if you're a learning person, it's a thing of beauty. It's designed so well. Marcial, books about motivation and achieving goals. I will put those in. I'm making a note. Yes, there's lots. So I will put those in the workbook. I've written a lot about that in my blog. I've been blogging for, 10, 15 years, long time. Someone's DMing me. The name of the piano app again is Simply Piano. Simply Piano. Okay, Carmela, through the engagement today, I've already learned about several useful apps. Woohoo! Which is your goals for 2023? I'm so glad. That's great. So I want to take off my hat to you all as we shift into a closing. We talked about what a learning plan is and why it's important. We went through all of the learning plan worksheet. So I think you should have everything you need to finish filling that out. So it's really like, think of a finely made custom Italian suit, right? I want it to fit you to a T, right? That it fits how you learn, what you want to learn, etc. We talked about that letter I, right? So really thinking in three things. What broadly do you need to know about your particular area that you work in? What are those deep, deep things you need to become even more of an expert in? And then what are those broad things, because you're human, do you need to work on your communication skills this year, your creativity, your ability to handle change, etc. So I really am always about encouraging you. I mean, I'm so glad you showed up. And I really want to encourage you to do something with this learning. So you may wish to finish filling in that learning plan, and then, put it to use by figuring out what motivation style you are, and put some reminders in whatever way you remind yourself to continue to come back to your learning plan throughout the year. As I mentioned, I every month ask people to fill in this survey. And I know people don't get really excited about surveys. But the survey helps me help you. So you get to give input on future roundtable topics. So I really do look at that when I design. So next month's is on change management, and I will look at that survey feedback to customize the roundtable. You get to tell me how I'm doing so I can continuously improve, and you get a chance to win a free Ban Boring online meeting, my online course. So please take a couple minutes to fill that in. Also, I get questions about this all the time. So I know I repeat this a couple of times, but you do need to be a member to get access to the workbook and the calendars and all that kind of thing. So you can scan that app, or I just put the link in the chat. If you are a UN attendance, if you are UN staff and you want to get this counted towards your annual mandated training, there is a link. So you need to click on that link, the attendance sheet, just as you would if you were taking an in-person course. And then that gets sent to UNON and taken care of. And then mark your calendars. All the dates are set for the rest of the year. So I hope to see you at future roundtables. And I do want to say the resources include the audio recording, the video recording, the workbook, the PowerPoint, and all the other stuff that I mentioned. And also the video, because I know it's a longer video, all of the videos are time-stamped. So I've given you an example on the screen here. So you can click on the link and go exactly to that part of the roundtable that you're interested in looking at. So if you are a roundtable member, which again, the link is in the chat here, or if the future self is watching it, it'll be in the link in the description below. So become a member if you aren't already, and please share. Please help us grow our community. Please share it with 2 people if you would. And if you would like further support, if you want to talk to me about working with your team around team building, tech tools, digital engagement, or training of trainers, please email me. I'd love to chat with you. So thank you. I so appreciate your focus on learning. Your communities, your team, your family, your organization can do nothing but benefit from that. So thank you so much.